I'm afraid to say anything.
Well, I'll take the bullet.
It's working. You see, maybe it's just I think I had 6 or 7 pages open on StreamYard. Maybe that's the problem. No,
Yeah, that could have been it.
no, I'm kidding. But I think that page of StreamYard was open for a long time. So okay, we're we're back in 30 minutes nonlinear shenanigans. Um, first first try was a bit of a mess because there was an echo and was repeating constantly what we were saying in my ear, and that didn't work out. So
If
what
at
the
first you
plan
don't
is for today?
succeed, fail
Sorry,
again. If at
fail,
first you
fail,
don't succeed, fail again.
fail again, fail as many times as we can, right? Um, the thing is, and I started that 15 minutes ago. Same thing. So Anshar likes to explain things, and I said to Anshar, can we do a nonlinear shenanigans of 30 minutes where I have my good friend Anshar in a happy mode without explaining everything. And what do you think when I say that?
I think that I need to carefully evaluate my communication style and don't come across as if I have correctile dysfunction, but I will have to self-assess about that. I think I just delight in thinking about things. So my friends do get the warning that if they're looking for emotional support and not solutions, they have to let me know up front because my brain defaults to thinking about how to solve things.
Yeah.
But it's a valid criticism, I think.
No, it's fun, but we've done 4 episodes now, and you said to me several times, Perry, we should have fun in the 30 minutes. And it shouldn't be that serious. And I'm thinking, yeah, how do we do that? Because it becomes always serious, especially when you start to think about things and put it in perspective and say, but wait a second, this is how to do it. If you're weird and you want people to listen to you, or you don't want to be weird in it, do this, right? But I want to see the other answer today, the other side of answer, maybe.
Okay, I
Yeah.
could turn my chair around.
Okay. So why do I want to hang out with the other answer? We have the database of TellTOM open here. And TellTOM is an app made by the Octopus Movement, Tom, the Octopus Movement. Um, and in this app, people with an iPhone can complain or share their thoughts or ideas. They can just share whatever they want to share, and it's anonymous. And it goes into our database, and we learn from that. We use that in our think tanks. We see what's happening in the world, and what I personally really like, it's easy to communicate and share something someone said without that person being canceled or us being canceled. Because if I say something someone wrote, and it's interesting to share that, people will not cancel Tom because we didn't write this. We just share what someone wrote, and that
Don't kill
person
the
who wrote
messenger.
this, don't kill the messenger. And the person who wrote this, nobody knows. We don't know who that person is. Nobody knows. So that person cannot be canceled. Then we get this honesty and true and pure thinking. Well, how does that look like in today's world? I scroll down to the beginning of TellTOM and to see what are the first what are the first messages. One of the first is, why is everything so expensive? Well, that's a message you want to share in an anonymous space, right? I think this is something everybody is complaining about, and everything is expensive,
And you
right?
don't want an answer, right?
You don't want to answer, right? And I think this person also doesn't want to answer. They just want to write in the app, why is everything
No,
so
I'm saying
expensive?
you don't want an answer, so I shouldn't
I know,
explain.
I know, but this person doesn't want to have an answer, right? You're typing this in, why is everything so expensive? I don't think this person wants a message back from the app. Well, because this and this and this and this is happening. People don't always want answers. Answer. What do you think?
I don't know how to do that without explaining. Uh, you know, my father used to be a mime. He never spoke about it. Um, I think that sometimes having the ability to just yell into the air is useful. There is a good use for venting, especially if it's to other people, even if you do it anonymously.
Do you think it's a good thing also to use some bad words from time to time? That it's a good release from the body?
No, I don't know if words are bad. I think interpreted meaning is bad.
Yeah. Okay, shall we do another one?
Sure.
Oh, this is a good one. Next one. Why does my phone? These are questions. A lot of people write questions in TellTOM, and they know they don't get an answer. Interesting as well.
So the day that you ask me to specifically not explain anything, you're going to hit me with a bunch of why questions.
Yes,
Well
this
done.
is
Well done.
this is not to tease you, Anshar. This is
Yeah,
not
right.
to. Why does my phone battery die faster than my motivation on Monday? No, but listen, if this is your life, you're checking out a new app and you're thinking, "Oh, I can share something anonymously." And this is what you write. Why does my phone battery die faster than my motivation on Monday? Then you're okay, I think. If this is the anonymous thing, then you're fine, don't you think?
I mean, if complaining makes you feel better.
I Unsure, where are you?
My brain is still explaining the answer to the question.
Okay, explain the question. Let's go there. Release yourself.
All right.
What what
Well,
what is it what you really want to say right now?
if a person's not motivated and they're trying to deal with that lack of motivation by being on their phone, then there's probably a very concrete reason why their phone battery is dying faster than their motivation. Uh,
That's funny.
a second mechanic there might be that getting motivated isn't actually necessary. It's behavioral patterning. So if you can get into good habits, it doesn't take any effort. If it's sure, if you're going to start making your bed a certain way or something in the morning to start your day with an accomplishment, you might have to go through that process intentionally for the first few weeks. But after a while, it's like tying your shoes. It becomes a gesture that you do, and then it takes no effort. So it, learning about how your behavioral systems work is learning about putting the things in place so that you can do a bunch of things with no effort, with a wave of your hand, and then it doesn't require motivation. It's just a series of executable steps, like a button you press.
Yeah. So motivation is overestimated.
I think motivation is identified as a root cause when it's not the problem.
Yeah. So motivation is fake.
Motivation is your
Not the
excitement.
motivation, but motivation by itself.
Yeah, yeah, it's the excitement that you tell yourself you have to need in
Yeah.
order to be able to do something.
So if someone is talking about motivation, ignore the person.
If a
I'm very
person's
motivated now to do that.
motivation is all about your point of attention and what you're interested in. So I think
Yeah.
it's more interesting to hear what a person is focused on and interested in than to hear it as an explanation for their behavior.
Okay, let's do another one. I'm motivated for another one. Traffic lights are the modern pay philosopher always making me wait and reflect on life. It's okay, it's okay to write a sentence where I'm thinking, I don't fully comprehend, uh, but I'm not a native English speaker. Traffic lights are the modern pay. Philosopher always makes me wait and respect on life. So this person is complaining about the traffic lights.
This person is talking about the fact that stopping because you're in a system where you have to obey rules and wait gives you a moment of reflection. So it's an enforced moment of silent meditation. When you're driving, you're going somewhere, you're on automatic process, and then you're stopped at the light, and all of a sudden you're actually paying attention to your surroundings. You see that person walking across the street. You consider your own existence for a moment. You're forced to stop doing things for a moment. It's a moment of quiet reflection. It's the space between thoughts, Barry.
I know that space. So this person is saying, I found the space between thoughts when I'm waiting for a traffic light. When the system, when something around us that is always there is forcing us to stop, even though we're in a hurry, or there's a waiting line at the checkout at the
Like an
grocery or
audio
whatever.
configuration issue.
When you go live on StreamYard with your Nonlinear Shenanigans, the podcast, and audio shit is happening, you need to redo it again. And there's
I don't
no.
have that choice. There's no reset button for my brain for auditory processing disorder, so I envy you. I wish I could just reset my computer.
Okay, let's do another one. Um, oh, there are also long ones. Shall we do here? There's too much sugar available everywhere. There is too much sugar available everywhere, Anshar. Don't explain this one, huh? Don't give the answer.
Having access to too much food while people are starving. What a problem. Let me identify that as the problem instead of my lack of self-control. That's great.
There's too much sugar everywhere. There's not too much sugar everywhere. Is there? In the supermarket, maybe, but not when you're in
I
nature.
mean,
And
you got to define what you mean by sugar and what you mean by everywhere. It's a sweet sentiment.
it would have been so funny if we could have an Anshar AI agent, and then in TellTOM there is the option: do you want Anshars respond to your entry?
There is an Anshar agent. There's Ask Anshar. I made it
Ask
last year.
Anshar. So maybe we can connect these two, and then someone is saying there's too much sugar available everywhere. Bam, and then you get to Ask Anshar respond to that. Do you think people would like that? People would
I
make them
mean, Ask
happy.
Anshar already has like 10,000 chats on it, so apparently they like me explaining things.
Can you ask Anshar now?
What am I asking it?
So ask Anshar if Anshar would love it to be connected to tell Tom that all the anonymous entries have an option of directly communicating with and ask Anshar based on what they just put in the entry.
Did you just ask if it would like it?
If you would like that or not. Yeah.
So the way that transformer-based mechanisms work, it's not really liking things.
Mm.
It's like a game of word association or Rorschach where it's taking concepts that are attached and then running them through an algorithm of association. So I mean that's
So
what it's
there's no
designed
like.
for.
What is Anshar saying? What is ask Anshar saying?
I mean, I'm not even putting that into the prompt because you're
Oh,
asking it to have an affective response, and the only thing it can do is simulate one. So unless my directives on my platform are cynicism by default, and for epistemic honesty and data hygiene. So it's going to be like, I don't want anything. I'm a transformer. But if you have it set to enthusiastic, it'll be like, yes, that sounds fantastic. Tell me how to do that.
we should ask people that. Would you like to have, but then they can just go and share their thoughts in Ask Answer. But that doesn't work. So if you go to Ask Answer and you write down there's too much sugar in the world, then Ask Answer would say, what do you mean? What will Ask Answer say? There's too much sugar in the world.
Let's find out. Yeah, it can feel like the default environment is engineered to keep hitting the reward button, not just candy or desserts either. It's drinks, sauces, yogurt, bread, healthy snacks, coffee orders, convenience foods, even things that don't taste especially sweet. When you start noticing it, it can feel invasive, like sweetness is being pushed into every gap of daily life. That kind of frustration usually comes from more than taste. It can also be about feeling like real choices are being narrowed, feeling manipulated by food design, getting tired of having to stay vigilant all the time, wanting food to feel grounding instead of hyperstimulating, so your reaction makes sense. A practical way to deal with it is to stop trying to fight all sugar everywhere at once and instead create a few reliable safe zones. And it goes into explaining how that works. Can you tell I designed it after me?
No, this is such a big surprise. And what we will do is we will put ask answer in the comments of this episode and people can try it out and have their complaint and put in an ask answer. I think that's a winning combination, answer, that they use your AI with an entry that you haven't thought about, which something like, okay, let's do another one. A longer message. My mother applied for a new apartment on Facebook, which was likely a scam. For the life of me, I cannot fathom why she can't discern this. I've asked her a million times to check with me before she does things like this online, but she never does. Pissed at the scammers, pissed at my mom, pissed at myself for probably needing stronger boundaries. And I must say, taking the time to vent this has already helping me slow down and find a bit more compassion for everyone but the scammers. That's a message. I like that. They're like, oh, it's helping to. I think it does. It helps to write it down. You're a bit upset and you can't talk into TellTOM yet, so you have to write it down, or you do the voice notes. That's of course also possible, but maybe it
It's a
helps.
self-created problem based on toxic belief systems.
What this?
Well, one, if he's worried about his mother being scammed, or she, I don't know which, um, the thing to do is to actually show that person a process that's repeatable for that person to be able to determine if something is a scam by trying to tell that person that they should consult with them every time they're about to do something online. What they're trying to do is make themselves feel useful, intelligent, but to also be able to raise themselves emotionally over their former caregiver, which likely points to some attachment issues. That pattern of behavior and the description of it is actually perpetuating the very relationship that it's causing. And the frustration is really performative friction, because setting that social situation up to self elevate is actually there to curate a person's ego by making themselves feel useful, that a person needs to go to them and can't think properly without them.
Especially to your mom, maybe.
If you
Isn't
really
there an
care about
extra layer
someone,
then?
you
Right?
enable their success, you teach them how to not be taken advantage of so that they can be confident and carry those skills on in life. By assuming that that person's not capable of doing it on their own, you not only perpetuate a negative judgment about them, but if they agree to it, you're giving them a negative belief about themselves, all patterned off of a self-perpetuating behavior.
Yeah. Et voila, people. You fill in something and tell Tom, and Answer tells you exactly what's going on. Okay, another one. I'm feeling conflicted this time of year. I'm tired, it's cold, there's not much light. This time of year I associate with bad memories and heightened emotions and people not being very nice to me. Hmm.
Okay. Sounds like someone needs to make some new memory anchors and associations, and probably to put a heat lamp or like a sunbathing area in their house so that they can absorb some natural wavelengths of light and do something to associate something positive with that. Maybe do some volunteering or community service, see joy reflected in other people so that they have new memories to overwrite the old ones.
Yeah, it's not nice to have bad memories and to hold on to the bad memories. I think everybody has bad memories, right?
Well, that's because your memory system's designed to hold on to them. It wants to
Yeah.
protect you. Lion chases you up a tree, your brain wants to remember it.
Yeah. Here and it goes on. Not very nice to me yet. We're told on an industrial scale to be happy this time of the year. Oh, this was around Christmas. And if gifts somehow make up for years of abuse, emotional blackmail, neglect, and disregard. I want to be happy, but the big challenge is getting through the process of feeling okay at the end of it.
So there's patterning for trauma along with those memories, which is why resurfacing them causes a physiological reaction in order in ordination with the season. So to make new memories and associations is to start telling yourself a different story, because at a certain point you're no longer what happens to you, and then you can decide to have a different experience in association. But that means that you have to overcome that initial friction and conflict and go out and do something positive so that you have something new to anchor. Otherwise, you're just going to stew in that feeling.
Yeah. And I think you
I
need
mean, how interesting.
and I think you need a friend on the spectrum to say this very clearly to you. I think a lot of people, right? You have a good friend comes to you, says, I feel like shit, and I have trauma. I don't like how the world is operating. I think a lot of people have that. And then what? What is the statement here? Fuck. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. Maybe I can. I don't know. Um, is what are we
Sometimes you have to
doing,
use bad
Anshar?
words, Barry.
Fuck yeah! It
Yeah.
helps to release the energy. So maybe we just need to do. But what is the statement here? Is there a statement that we can say like this is it, people? Just say fuck more often and move forward and leave the past behind. What other cliches are there? It's horrible, these cliches. We're nonlinear shenanigans, and we're stuck in cliches, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, behavioral patterning, right? You can use frustrating negative emotions to drive action by using self-programming. Like, I'll give you an example. Let's say you feel you're a jealous person because you have some insecurities. Sure, that's a feeling
Oh,
that you're going to
wait.
have as a
Yeah.
response.
I have a question first. So, if you're a jealous person, do you know if you're a jealous person? I'm always wondering, like, if someone is very jealous, does this person know it's jealous? What do
It
you
affects
think?
their behavior, so yes, they have a solid
They
cycle of
know?
memories of it affecting their behavior, them ruminating on it, and them feeling the negative experience of not being enough. So yes, 100%.
So, jealous people are aware that they're being jealous.
100%. A lot of them are even proud of it and try to do it with an ego inversion.
Really? That's weird. Okay, go on.
So let's say you've got jealousy, right?
Yeah.
And that's a pattern. Um, well, if you program yourself, so up, I'm feeling this feeling, what am I going to do in response? And if every time that you feel that feeling, you decide to do something positive for your partner to, because you're trying to get rid of feelings of negative self-regard and
Hmm.
feeling comparative value. So what you do as a result of feeling that feeling is a behavior. That's a decision. So
Hmm.
why not decide every time that you feel a feeling like that to do something that actually hits the root cause of it in a positive way and drive positive behavior?
Yeah. Would it also help to also just make the statement, I think I feel jealousy coming up? Um, just say it rather
Yeah,
than, you know, be a bitch about something and respond in a very negative way because you're jealous. Why not just
I
say
think
it?
having negative emotional experiences is valid. It's about how you point them and how
Hmm.
you choose to reflect or mitigate them, or do you have a therapist? You know, the ability to talk through feelings and understand where they come from often assuages and mollifies those feelings. I think it's the feeling of powerlessness that comes from not knowing the mechanisms and feeling like it's part of your identity, part of your story, that can cause a lot of pain. So sometimes the process of talking things through with reframing or seeing if it's attached to belief systems can be very helpful. But that would be out of my primary discipline. That would be a clinician.
And
So nothing that
would it also?
I say is should be constituted as medical advice, for the record.
Yeah, yeah, okay. And what about just removing yourself from the um, surroundings you're at? I mean, I one day, years ago, I moved with my family from the Netherlands to China. That was a big change. So I'm not saying when you're jealous, move to China, but what I'm saying is when things are not going well, maybe it's time to recreate your life in a way. Find new friends, restart, go somewhere else, find new things, find new challenges, and move forward instead of constantly looking back. Or is this too simplified?
It might be too simplified just because you have to find out whether it's a symptom or a cause. If it's a symptom, then moving somewhere else is just going to expose you to the same mechanism. It would be like getting bullied at a school and then just trying to move schools instead of learning how to actually deal with that situation or you
Yeah,
know
but sometimes you can go to a school where there's a different kind of culture, and then and then also the problem can be solved.
right, and then you get to grow up not knowing how to handle a bully and not having that antagonism in your life. And so if it does surface later on because that is a pattern from being exposed to a certain kind of culture, then you won't be prepared for it. You can either
Mm,
rise to the challenge and let it transform you, or you can let it chase you.
yeah. Okay, let's do another one. I want to do another entry. We have 5 more minutes. After years working on my personal development, I'm still trying to find my call, my purpose, my job, my real self. This is often very frustrating. And I know a lot of people write about this. Like I'm working on my personal development. So your first response, Anshar, is not to explain. Let's go back like in the beginning of this episode. So don't explain anything. What
Okay.
is your initial response in not explaining anything when you hear something like this? After years of working on personal development, I'm still trying to find my call.
My first response is ill-typed question.
It's not a question. It's just a vent. It's just a beef. It's not a question per se.
Well,
Or
that's
is
the
that not what you mean? Or do you mean like after years of working on my personal development, there's the wrong question maybe in their search for personal development?
I think that you develop yourself by exposing yourself to things.
Hmm.
And so that's a process that happens naturally by who you choose to surround yourself with, what's important to you. Um, but when it comes to your calling, I think people get wrapped up in this idea of um, of following your passion, and that can be a rather toxic idea uh, because that doesn't mean that you're going to be good at it. You can be very passionate about painting and be a shitty painter
And
and
really a
never,
horrible artist.
never,
Yeah.
never be able to do anything worth a damn, even if you're very inspired, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, but what you can do is you can look at what everyone else is doing, not do that, find something that's in demand, and then find a way to be passionate about it based on what's different about you. It's about finding passion, not idealizing it. And Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs, um,
Hmm.
that he has a talk that he did for a commencement ceremony. It's worth looking up on YouTube. And he basically says, don't don't follow your passion. Instead, incorporate passion into what you do. And he always talked to people who do these crazy jobs like cleaning out sewer systems and all of that, making
Yeah,
millions
I've
of
seen it.
dollars,
No, no,
doing
no. I know him. Yeah.
doing stuff that other people don't want to do. And he was talking to one of these guys and said, "Well, how did you get into sewage?" And he said, "Well, I looked for what no one else was doing,
Yeah.
and I decided to do it. And then when I decided to do it, I found a way to get passionate about other people's shit."
Yeah.
That's how you
There,
find your calling, is to find how your passion can incorporate to what actually serves
and
and
maybe
benefits
your
others.
passion is not something you come up with. Maybe your passion is something you need to figure out by doing things. And then all of a sudden, maybe the passion is always a big surprise answer. For instance,
Look at
you
anyone's
know,
job. Anyone,
yeah,
the valet who takes the keys to your car, to the person who's digging the post holes in your backyard, to whatever, and say, if I did that job, what would I do to be passionate about it, to
mhm.
do it differently, to make it mine? That's a
I,
good
I
question.
that's a very and I think about that, often, and I think, and even my kids talk about that I think I would find passion in almost every job. It doesn't matter if I need to be a bus driver flipping burgers at McDonald's or being at the register at a supermarket. I think I would be passionate about everything. So
Well,
if
I'm
if
gonna give
if
the link
that's
to that YouTube video in the comments.
yeah, I see it.
And I'll do the same for Ask Anshar since you asked for that.
There used to be a BBC series long time ago, Paris 50. So yeah, this is a long time ago. And I keep talking about this BBC series because I loved it. The concept was very simple. Um, Someone would fake a job and they would participate at a contest within the job. And then a jury who had no clue that there was a faker in between them had to say after that event, they would ask the jury, well, there was someone there who is not whatever. Can you tell us who that is? And so the first episode was they took a farmer from Scotland and you get the image, and they brought him into London, into the fashion scene, and he had to become a hairdresser.
Okay.
So in the beginning he was like, holy, I don't want to be here, this is horrible, and you know guys, what's going on, and everything. And in the end, so they gave him a speed course in how to cut hair and style hair and whatnot. And he actually liked it very much in the end. And they couldn't tell the jury, this very elite jury and high fashion design hairdressers in London and a lot of tralala and difficult. And they asked them, well, someone is not really a hairdresser. Who is it? They couldn't tell that he was not a hairdresser.
They should have asked the behaviorist. I would have just looked at the calluses on his hands, but
Isn't that cool? So, yeah, I think passion is inside of you no matter what you do.
I mean, if the date goes well.
The date goes well. Thank you, Anshar. Let's do this more often, that we look into the database of TellTOM, because there are so many interesting entries. We just looked at a few of them. We have hundreds and hundreds to go. So interesting to look at them, and interesting to challenge you not to give the answer immediately.
I, you're gonna have to give me more prep time for that. I have to get myself into the right mode,
No,
but
I'd love it not to give you any prep time for that,
I
Anshar.
will try to be better at that for your benefit. But
Thank you,
yeah,
my friend. Thank
absolutely.
you for the nonlinear shenanigans of this week. See you next week.
See you next week.
See you. Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.